You don't need to spend hundreds of dollars on a phone when all you want to do is make some calls, send some texts, and maybe play a couple games of Among Us. I've spent 3 months with 3 of Samsung's Galaxy A phones, all of which come in at under $200. And I have to say they do a little bit of everything I need them to do, but they do come with a few trade-offs. We give a lot of attention to Samsung's Galaxy S phones, which start at $700 for the Galaxy S21 FE, but you might not want to or even can spend that much money just to have a phone. The Galaxy A02s starts at $130, the Galaxy A03s at $160, and the Galaxy A12 at $180. All of them have a 6.5-inch screen that's a similar size to the Galaxy S phones, but the resolution is locked to 720p. They all have a small teardrop-style notch for the front-facing camera, and they have 3 or 4 rear cameras, depending on the phone. All 3 phones run Android 11, with roadmaps and plans to get more software and security updates for a few years, which is particularly important if you want to hold on to the phone for a few years. Before going through what these phones can do, I just want to set some expectations by going over what they don't do. None of these phones support 5G. They do not have a high refresh rate display. They have a tiny 32 gigs worth of onboard storage. They do not wirelessly charge, and they all come in a plastic body. Despite having multiple cameras on the back of these phones, the image quality ranges from being just okay when I took photos of outdoor locations and donuts while outside, to pretty muddy when I took photos of burritos and cocktails at an indoor restaurant. But these phones have great battery life, easily stretching to 2 days, even when I would spend half the day watching YouTube videos, listening to podcasts, playing games, and taking video calls throughout. All 3 phones also have a headphone jack, which gives you way more flexibility as to what headphones you can use for the phones. And thankfully, they all have a microSD card slot, which you're going to need because with only 32 gigs of space, you're going to need a little bit more room to fit more photos or if you want to even take any video at all. When I loaded in my last Android backup to the first of these phones for review, I barely had enough space to even take 30 photos unless I deleted some apps to make some room. So you might now be thinking, Mike said all 3 phones do a little bit of everything, right? So I should totally just get the cheapest of the phones, right? No, not necessarily. The A02s has the fewest frills of the 3 phones, which is to be expected because it's the cheapest. It has no fingerprint sensor on the phone, so to unlock it you need to either use a code, a pattern, a PIN, or no code at all if you're not concerned about anyone accessing your phone easily. But the bigger problem with the A02s is multitasking, likely because the phone only has 2 gigs of memory on board, whereas the other 2 phones have 3 gigs. The phone played my podcasts fine, and I could browse the web on the phone okay, but when I started trying to do both or other combined tasks, the phone would often crash either the music or the web after a few minutes. Unless you need a phone that you don't really plan to use very much, it's hard for me to recommend the A02s even at $130. It's perhaps a good burner phone or a small step up from a flip phone. For $30 more, the A03s is worth it on its own just from the fingerprint sensor inclusion. Just that lets you get into the phone way faster than having to enter in a PIN or a pattern. The A03s is also the newest of the 3 phones, so it should be getting slightly longer software and security update support over the A02s and the A12. And the phone is 3 gigs of RAM, up from the 2 gigs on the A02s, which makes multitasking so much better. I do feel some lag when entering and exiting apps, but most other tasks I threw at it were just fine. I could even video chat while playing Among Us at the same time. The $180 A12 adds a 4th camera to the back of the phone, which means that it does capture slightly more detail in its photos. However, that little bit of extra detail wasn't substantially better than what I could get off the A03s or the A02s. For all 3 of these phones, you'll want to make use of good lighting in order to get the most out of the images, since the level of detail is a bit more crunchy than crisp, especially in lower lighting. I also found lag on the A12 when rotating it between horizontal and vertical landscapes while watching videos and reading the news. Overall, the A12 could be a good fit for someone who really wants that 4th camera and plans to throw in a microSD card slot to take advantage of the additional space for more photos and videos. So the most important question to me with these phones is how good will you look on a video call? We took some footage the other day of what a video call would look like over Zoom, just to give you some idea of what the quality is like over that, or Duo, or any other video calling app you use. So this is video calling from the cheapest of the three Samsung phones, the Galaxy A02s. It's the $130 one. And this is what a video call looks like from the step-up Galaxy A03s. It's $160. And this is what it looks like from the Galaxy A12. This phone has a fourth camera on the back, but on the front, the camera that matters right now, is just the same front-facing camera in a teardrop notch. Hopefully it looks a little bit better because this is the phone that costs more than the other two at $180. Yeah, in general, the front-facing camera isn't great. When you can, you might want to make use of better lighting or plugging in some headphones for some better sound. Those tests were done using just the phone itself, so you can have an idea of what it would be like to take a quick video call when holding your phone without wearing any headphones or having the time to set up any good lighting. Of the three phones I tested, I would recommend the Galaxy A03s the most right now. That phone will get the most years of software support and provide a good balance of power for the price. But if you really want the phone to last as long as possible, I highly recommend factoring in the extra $30 to buy a microSD card to expand the storage on the phone. 32 gigs of space just isn't enough for most people's photos and videos. If you want to check out extra details about the Galaxy A02s, the Galaxy A03s, or the Galaxy A12, check out links in the description for more information. Also, click like and subscribe on CNET's YouTube channel for more information and guides like these.